work on marketing. So into the marketing career, and I was very privileged to work for Cresta Hotels in Zim. At the time, we got Cresta Maricanello, the hotels in Botswana, and opened lots and lots of hotels and ended up doing marketing plans for 14 hotels. I then left Zimbabwe and moved to Cape Town and joined Stocks Hotels and Resorts, as it was then, now Legacy. And again, got into the opening vibe with the opening of Commodore. I was based in the Commodore Hotel and looked after the Cape sales team. And then got some mad opportunity to go and work for SADC at World Expo in Hanover in the year 2000 and look after the SADC pavilion. And there I had the great opportunity to learn about the neighboring countries. We even hosted a WTO event on World Tourism Day featuring all the heritage sites in the Southern African region. And of course, that was huge and very interesting, as I was not that well educated with the whole region by then. And then I returned and joined Rani Resorts and into a big Mozambique experience with all those beautiful lodges on the islands that Rani Resorts opened. And then had a little accident, which stopped me in my tracks for a bit. And I got into online marketing and curiosity was aroused, and I really immersed myself into the online marketing space. And I think my skill comes from a summary of all that, plus the fact that I studied psychology. Consumer behavior is of great interest to me, especially on the other side of a screen. So these times are really interesting, and how people are behaving and how we can expect people to behave. So back to school I went. I studied with mentors, and for 4 years really tried to work out where I was at. And I've developed, I think, a very interesting service. So before I get into the nitty-gritty, just to give you an indication of how I work, I am very into identifying your ideal customer avatar, niche marketing, knowing who you're talking to. Email marketing now is more alive than ever, because how are you going to stay in touch? I do one-on-one coaching. That is my passion. That is how I help people. But I love creating content. I love writing, so do all that, creating visual content. And I have different ways I work with individual clients. But the biggest thing that Corona taught me was that we all have a purpose and a goal. And mine was to use what I've learned to help others do it easier, find a shortcut, and find their way by showing them an easier, cheaper, simpler route along the way. So I hope today you will come along with me, that I will inspire you to maybe do things a little bit differently, to communicate a bit differently about, and think about how you are putting yourself out there. So welcome everyone. I would love for you to tell me who you are, to introduce yourselves, tell me what you're on about and what kind of business you're in. I am going to get a transcription of the chat, and we will work out how we keep in touch and keep building you up. And maybe, as we've just discussed before starting this, that we might start a series and start helping you with small tutorials along the way to make you push the envelope and learn to communicate in a different way. So when I talk about coaching, the big point I want to make is what I do is not so much about doing it for people, as about showing people how to bring out the best in themselves and what they do. And now more than ever, reaching out to people with passion is important, and that means digging deep. And for people in the hospitality industry, where we are removed right now and in travel, and we are trying to communicate with people, I can guarantee you the only way you're going to stand out and be different is by reaching into yourself and finding your passion and talking about what you do well with passion. So that is my big, I think, gift, is to help people reach into their passion and to transform the way they communicate and reach out to people. So that's what I will also try and reach on today. But please, if anybody would like to engage with me on a one-on-one, just to help you break free of some mindsets regarding communication and marketing and how you're doing things right now, you will get my details at the end. And it's with love and affection that I will try and have an online talk with you and set you free a little bit. What is marketing today? So, excuse me, the internet is the only winner, I think, in Corona, in this COVID era, because the internet has exploded. So while the internet has succeeded, it has made things really challenging for anybody who is communicating right now, because there is noise. There's lots of noise. The tactics, oh dear Lord, they are going mad. The Zoom meetings like this one are overloading people with content, with information. There are so many channels to choose from, and how do you know which one to choose? And then we've got generations, oh dear Lord, and now we've got people behaving differently, and we've got to decide who we talk to and how we talk to them. And then the recession, which is now the reality. People have not got a lot of money, so how are we going to work with that? I think doing things a lot more economically is obviously for many of you a priority, as you are sitting waiting for things to change and business to pick up. So a lot of what I'm going to do today is tips on doing things free, creating content that will help your agency, will help your marketing team, will help them with content and something to build on, as opposed to starting everything from scratch. And making a connection is key. You have to connect with people, and that is the only way you're going to stand out. And especially with social distancing, how are you going to bridge this gap? How are you going to relate to people across a screen, talk to people who've got masks on their faces? How are you going to communicate emotion and facial expressions that we have been taught to rely on all this time? So we're going to talk more and more about that, and I hope you get some great inspiration and tips today. I've got, I think, 21 tips to give you. But first of all, please jump on the chat and tell me what your understanding is of what social media is right now. What do you use it for? What is social media? How does it fit in? Is it an important part of your marketing practice? Just give me some stuff to work with so I can gauge your understanding of where you are at with regards to your passion or hate of social media. Which platforms do you love? Which platforms do you hate? The thing is, the reason I said crisis or opportunity right up front is because the bubble has definitely burst. And I also said marketing without a roadmap. That's because I think it's an opportunity because nobody really knows. And the only way you're going to know is by testing, trying, and doing things differently. This is your opportunity to break the mold, to get inspired and just put yourself out there and do it. And when we talked or Chelsea mentioned in the preamble, the description of this talk, she talked about me giving you some tips on repurposing. I'm not going to go into great detail on how you repurpose, but every single bit of content you create can be repurposed into something else. So when we are talking like this and recording a live broadcast, or you are doing a live video in your office at a beautiful place, talking about a culture, a site, a meal, a restaurant, or whatever, that can then be converted into posts. It can be converted into, transcribe it into a story, into a blog. It is really easy to create content as long as you create. You've got to start somewhere. So that nobody is telling you what to do and how to do it, but you have to do it. That's the most important point I can make. The next point I want to make to you is, with all the noise and the explosion of the internet, spraying and praying is gone. We are all very familiar with this site, but also spray and pray and putting stuff out there, hoping some of it's going to stick, is not the way to go, folks. You have to be clear, and I'm going to help you try to niche into a message, your identity, what you do best, to try and get you to connect with specific people, with your ideal customer. So let's go. And by the way, I don't have a magic wand. I don't have a silver bullet. I don't have a playbook, because I am as dumbfounded by all this as you. I am in the social media marketing space all day long. I'm not running another business. This is my business. And yet, the changes on the platforms, the way people are engaging or not engaging, I'm finding it all a bit of a mind, what's the word? Blow. A bit of a mind blow, because things have so obviously changed already, and they're going to carry on changing. That is probably the most powerful message. And you have to be in it to understand it and play with it. You can no longer be sitting on the sidelines and learning. The only way you're going to learn is by getting dirty, by making the odd mistake, tweaking it, learning what your clients like, what they don't like. So the way I'm going to handle this for you today is that's what we're going to talk about, how to play without rules. I just want to make a couple of points about social media. Thank you for the comments that have come in. I am interested to see that a lot of you are using social media, obviously, and have a good understanding of the role. Content marketing is actually the mothership. So I want to make clear to you things about content marketing, and again, under the topic of repurposing. And then this marketing, as I call it, the right marketing list, is the best formula or system or process or focus points I can help you with to get you working on the right stuff for the right reasons in the right place, etc., etc. And then I've been asked to mention a bit about reputation and community management, because obviously it fits in with the whole social media landscape and where it's going to take us. So stick with me. Anytime you want to elaborate on something I say or want to make a point, I would love you to put it in the chat, because we will hopefully create a great blog or a story out of the comments that come through, and it might alert us to other topics we need to elaborate on and talk in future broadcasts. So what is social media? It is a place for communication, for community-based interaction. That's the most important thing. It is a place to share content, collaborate, to chat, and more so now in the absence of going down to the pub, to your networking group, to whatever. Social media is going to gain in power and popularity as the place individuals use to stay in touch and interact with family, friends, and now we can add colleagues. And businesses use social media to market their products, promote their brands, connect, and foster relationships. Kindly note tip number one, it is not your sales channel. Pushing your sales down somebody's throat is going to be the quickest way to get an unfollow. I'm going to give you some tips on how to use social media to get customers, because otherwise, what's the point? So let's just talk about the two things that if there's nothing else you take away here today, there are 2 points I want you to take away. The first one is to be objective driven. There is absolutely no point putting content out there without an objective. You on and just doing it to be there for a day every day, or to, oh, I haven't posted today, I better put a post out there, is not an objective. Okay, you need to think about, and a lot of people glaze over with this sales funnel, communication funnel, conversion funnel, whatever you want to call it. So I'm not going to harp on it. I just want to set this concept clearly in your mind for those of you who are not marketers. At the top, you are attracting people, and social media is really powerful for discovery. This is where you get people to find you. Again, you have to be out there to be in the game. So if you are not creating daily content. If you are not putting stuff out on the platforms where your ideal customers are, they are never going to find you. There is too much noise not to be there. Then you use social media and the type of content you post to build your reputation, to build their trust, to build their relationship and nurture your relationship with them. That is a different kind of content, but again, social media is huge. But you need to get that audience on your page and keep them on your page. If you are not showing, this is a very important point in the understanding of the social media algorithm. If you are not posting content that people are engaging with, they are not seeing your content. So if people are not liking, sharing, commenting, you are not getting engagement, they are seeing less and less of your content. So just putting stuff out there that is not getting engagement is wasting your time. You have to learn what your audience is engaging with to get them further down the funnel, and in a very natural way, you send them on to ask for more, to download a tip sheet, to talk to you about potentially booking a trip, to download a video of an experience, or to get a sample itinerary, whatever. That is taking them down the funnel, nurturing them down the funnel. Very little conversion is actually taking place on social media. So this, as long as you understand that role, and every bit of content you post, you ask yourself, why am I doing this? What outcome do I want? And you clearly say or indicate or show in the image or talk in the video, what is the next step you want those people to take? Do you want them to share? Do you want them to comment? Do you want them to get in touch? Are you inviting them to see the next post? Whatever. Okay, so I hope that's made that point. The second most important point I want to make that you have to take away with you is there is no, yes, this is the way to do it. And if you are not measuring your performance, i.e., are people engaging? Are people leaving your page? When are you getting new likes? When are people abandoning? Are people on this platform? Which other platform should you be testing? If you are not actively monitoring, measuring, and testing, you're wasting your time, because it's like driving in the dark without headlights. You have no idea where you're going. So please, folks, objectives, measurement. Right. So that was the boring bit. So please just hang in there. And by the way, before we move on, tip number 4, social media is not a solo sport. This is not that chat, but you have to leverage Google and your own website. You cannot rely on social media alone. Just this last week, I've had a client who's got a Facebook shop, went hysterical because the Facebook shop went down. And I went, well, why are you worried? You've got your shop and WooCommerce on your website. People can book your event and pay and do everything on your website. You don't have to rely on Facebook. So you need to build your own real estate on the internet. You are at the behest and the beck and call of the social media platforms. They are powerful for what they are intended, but it's not your property. They have their rules of engagement, and you have to abide by those rules. On your website, on your own blog, you are in charge. So please work on developing your own content. And again, repurposing content, what you put on social media, repurpose as a blog, put videos on your website, create blogs on your website that you have also got the content on your own platform, which, by the way, you can measure with a thing called a pixel. So you can then start marketing to people who are actually visiting your website. So that's a very important part of the purpose of social media, to drive people to your website where you can track them and then serve ads when you actually get to the sales part. Okay? Next is the right list. So this is the right list. I quickly want to work with you through today. And if nothing else makes sense, try and be sure that you know who the right person is, what content they consume, where they're hanging out, when are they online, what format do they prefer, What language do they use and which device are they on? I'm going to work through each of them to help you with that, starting with content, and you'll see why I'm going to come back to the right customer last. So what is the content story? What is content marketing? Content marketing is the technique of creating and distributing valuable, reliable, and consistent content. Folks, you are nothing in this new age where everybody is online searching, looking for answers. And if you are not putting them out there, you won't get found. It's called content marketing. You have to have a plan to put content out there. So go back to the funnel I showed you at the top. What is going to get attention? What's going to get them interested and keep their attention with you, keep them engaged? What do you need to do to educate people down the funnel to get them interested in buying? Those are very important points. And where do you put it and at what time? We're going to talk about that in a minute. So what is content? Well, it's a big story because content includes many different formats these days. You need to, I'm not going to tell you, you have to do this or you have to do this. I'm going to tell you what some of the best content you can do right now. But what you need to do is go and look what people are engaging with on your competitor sites and what your audience, your ideal audience, are engaging with on other sites. That's going to give you a tip at the type of content they enjoy. But you're also going to throw other stuff into the mix. You have to change it up to experiment, monitor, test, and work out what works for your business and for your brand. So what makes it interesting is that the internet enables, and you have to be part of the conversation, not interrupting, but be part and add to the conversation. This is where the community thing comes in. Talk to the community. Talk as though you're part of the community. You're not a salesman on social media. You want to add value. You want to be fun to be with. Remember, it's a social place after all. And when you're searching for the type of content to put out there, really, all they are looking for is answers. So in your industry, in this travel, hospitality, leisure industry, it is so powerful. So what makes your soul sing? What flicks your buttons? What are you knowledgeable about? That is the stuff you write about and put out there, because that's the stuff people search. That's how you get discovered. So the role of social media, if content is fire, social media is the gasoline. So you put content on your blog, on YouTube, on wherever, but putting it on social media is the gasoline that ignites it and gets it out there. And you never know who it's going to fire up, where it's going to land. But I keep reiterating, if you don't put content out there, you're never going to start the fire. Okay, I hope I've made that point. But my tip number 6 is stand out. How do you stand out in the noise? I like to define social media as a billboard. If the billboard is interesting, you stop and look. When last did a billboard, as you were flying by on the highway, attract your attention? What was it about that billboard that got your attention? Was it the image? Was it the words? Was it the color? Was it whatever? Those are indicators for you of what you need to do to stand out. But I can tell you something, more than anything, a way to stand out is authenticity. Being yourself, tapping into what you are uniquely about, what you know about, that other people love to listen to you about. We go back to, why do people engage with you? What questions do people ask you? Especially, I've got a few friends who are tour guides and tour operators and stuff, and they all have a passion for something or other. And that's where they can differentiate, establish their unique personality and brand, and stand out amongst a Me Too. No more time for Me Too, no more time for spray and pray. So the next point I want to say to you is adding value is absolutely critical, and tapping into the customer journey. So when you are creating content and you're trying to think about what content you can create, think about this customer journey. This is a very, very real way that all customers go through, finally ending up with a purchase. Is they dream of something. They dream of a solution. They then start researching the solution. They then start weighing up the options and deciding where to buy. They buy, and then after they buy, they give reviews. Therefore, reputation management. How are you going to manage that process? How easy and frictionless do you make the buying? How do you help them make decisions to choose you? And giving them all the information they need in their information search is critical. How do you do that? By adding enormous value without selling. Give information and content that get people, and here's my favorite line for what social media is about. Get people to know, like, and trust you. They get to know you because they happen upon you accidentally on social media. And then by hanging around, they start connecting, they start liking you. And once they start to trust you, they start going down your sales funnel, start engaging more, start asking for information, and hopefully at the end of the day, the sale. So I'd like to ask you something with the next slide. Where do you get your inspiration? Please go into the chat for me as to what to post. Who is stuck with what to post every day? What can you talk about? Because here's the other point that I haven't actually listed as a tip. In the noise today, if you are not there every day on the major platforms, people don't engage with you. I've just explained to you the way the algorithm works. If they don't engage, they don't see you. You cannot afford to miss a slot. But I've also said you're not going to post for the sake of posting. So you have a marketing objective. I've just seen Michelle. Thank you. You're stuck on posting every day. Well, I've got some great news for you. But I would like you to also think about, if you re-watch this presentation, to list these 7 objectives and think about, 9 objectives, sorry, think about how you can create content that talks into each of those objectives. If you want to get people aware of you, how do you do that? Very often it's beautiful pictures. So in our industry, in the travel and tourism industry, we are spoiled for choice. You can get really gorgeous pictures and people share that kind of stuff, or fun, or an experience in the bush. And it doesn't have to be crafted in great content. That very authentic, uncrafted stuff is what gets people attention. So I want to talk to you about some content tips quickly. Let's just go and give you some content tips. So many of you have probably been waiting for this slide. First of all, I use my little formula of 3 E's. Once you've got your objective that you're going to post for, try and work with either one of these 3 or more than one. Your content should either educate, entertain, or enrich. Why do you see so many inspirational, aspirational, motivational quotes? Because people are turning to social media to be uplifted. I know we have those other negative people, but we're not talking about those. So give enriching content, fun, entertaining content. What's entertaining? Fun. It's wow. It's breaking news. What can you do to add value that entertains? And then, of course, educational. Everybody is searching how to. Tell me more. Help me find this. Where can I go for that? You are the experts on your destination. Educate people about your favorite spot. When last did you check in to your favorite tea and scone spot and say, next time you visit Cape Town, join me here? Those kind of things people really value. And when you start posting stuff like that and people start engaging stuff like that, the algorithm starts raising the value of your content and you start showing it to more people and it gets classified as quality content. So no more spray and pray, no more putting content out for the sake of, but consistency is critical. If you, after this, go and start on a new platform, or you decide to go and now really put some energy into your marketing, please do me a favor and be consistent. Don't start suddenly with a post every day and then disappear for the next week and then get a guilty complex and come back and then stop and start and so on. It's no good for your online marketing. Consistency is key. Decide up front, I am going to post 3 times a week, and keep to that. And up it slowly as your capability grows. Consistency is key. No, not 500 posts one day and then nothing for the next 2 weeks. People hate that. And they will unfollow, they will spam your content, because now users are able to say in their preferences, I don't want to see this post, or this post is irritating me, just like I love it on Google, although on YouTube, all those ads that interrupt your viewing, you can now tick a little box that says, I don't want to see this ad anymore. And they say why, and you can choose repetitive or irrelevant or whatever, and the ad disappears. Your users have a choice, and they exercise that choice if you irritate them. So don't irritate. Okay. So the next one is unique. I want you to please, after this, go and tap into what you do better than anyone else. What makes you as a service provider in your industry stand out? And try to create content around that. If you're happy on video, you've got a personality, whatever, do it. If you, excuse me, are not happy on video, do a voiceover and put it over a slideshow. You don't have to be in front of this to connect, but you have to communicate what you are good at and what you do better than other people. Branding helps you stand out. Consistent branding, you will see my red is everywhere. My brand is Red Matchstick. I ignite, invigorate marketing. I think, I stick, people remember me. In fact, I've been told before, oh, you're the red lady. That sticks, that gets people used to my brand. When people see my stuff in their news feed, they recognize my stuff and hopefully stop to have a look. Develop your branding. It's about color, it's about layout, it's about fonts. And then also a consistent theme to the way you talk. You talk differently on different platforms. I'm going to talk about that in a minute, but it's consistent. There's, I've got a great formula which I quickly want to throw in for you. People disengage, unfollow or whatever due to what I learned from one of my gurus, a thing called cub, as in a lion, cub. Number one could be because it's boring. C for confusing. C for confusing. U for unbelievable. Who can believe this stuff? I'm not interested. And B for boring. No more same as with boring. Be believable, be real, and be consistent, not confusing in what you are putting out there over time. You need to jump out of people's newsfeed. You know, with your own newsfeed, as you're scrolling up through, what you stop at, there's something that makes content jump out at you. Learn from that. Color is critical. One of the very interesting little tips I teach my coaching students is avoid blue. Even if your brand's blue, find another color. Folks, I'm just having to connect my computer. Sorry, I've got no power. Think about color. So many people, even if your brand's blue, post in blue. Most of the social media platforms are blue. So therefore, when you post in blue, it looks like it's a promotional post by that platform. I hope that makes sense to you. And then movement. So people love video, love animation. The minute something they're scrolling through on the screen moves at them, they tend to stop and have a look because it's FOMO. What am I missing out on? What should I be looking at? And then the best content of all. Please listen to this and push out the envelope. You know what? You'll find surprisingly that people aren't as judgy as you think they are. You are more judgy about yourself than your audience. Get out there live. And can I tell you why? More than ever is because when people meet you one-to-one, you look like this. On live, you can look like this. People can really see who you are. They can get to know you. It's more important than ever to show yourself live across the screen. But the big powerhouse about live is the social media platforms love live content above all other. Where your other content relies on engagement, live is pushed into people's newsfeed. You get these updates in your newsfeed that says such and such an account is live. That is your power. That is how social media helps you get discovered by new audience. And the more interesting, the more authentic you are, the more color you use, the more you jump out, the more unique you are, the more they're going to bounce through to your page, like and follow, and there you have a new follower. And it's free. And guess what? You don't need fancy techie equipment. Learn how your mobile device works. Smartphone cameras live are a joy. They are so easy to use. And also, if you absolutely hate what happened, go and delete it afterwards. But use the opportunity to be discovered by a new audience. Back to authenticity. Nobody can copy you. You cannot be replicated. So if you're pretending to be somebody else, you are cloning somebody else, stop it. Be you. Do a little exercise, value exercise. What do you love about yourself? What do you hate about yourself? Be vulnerable. Admit that you aren't perfect. And guess what? Real people connect with real people. They'll love that. And then the other great content tip is to listen into communities. Go and listen to what people are talking about in your space, around your space. So when Michelle said she doesn't know what to post for content, I have got a content plan link I'm going to give you at the end. It is a day-by-day content plan and inspires you for content idea for every day. It inspires you to change up the content. It gives you an idea about what to post about. It shows you what marketing objective to think about. You have to stay until the end. I will share this link in the chat, and I can guarantee you your content marketing, your content generation could become quite a lot of fun. Next point is go where they hang out. Being in the right place is critical. So if you love Facebook, and your audience is not there, don't bother. If you hate Facebook, worse still, and your audience is there, better you start liking Facebook. It's harder and harder to get heard on Facebook. Where could the audience also be found? You have to study your audience's behavior. And you know how you do that is by talking to existing clients and customers, asking them where they spend their time. I had a great experience. One of my coaching students on Friday, she's just been away for a safari weekend and came back and said, I've nailed who my ideal customer is, because around the fire, I sat and asked them all about their interests, about how they like booking, about how they like doing stuff. She's come back with this powerhouse of information, and we've created a whole content calendar around those interest points, around answering the questions those people want. It's so easy, really. Okay, so going to the right place is very, very important. And just a little caveat about social media. When you decide where to go, remember different rooms for different conversations. And the worst part, different types of content. So in LinkedIn, it's very different content to what you would share on Snapchat or TikTok or Instagram. You have to understand the platform. You have to understand the narrative, the language, the format, and everything that happens there. If any of you are using the same content on all the platforms, stop it already. What you post on Facebook needs hashtags on Instagram. Don't paste 30 hashtags on a Facebook post. Facebook hates hashtags. Research has shown 2 to 3 hashtags is right for Facebook. More than that is detrimental to reach. You have to learn these things about your social media and learn about what people are doing well. I would urge you, you might want to follow my page because I share lots of best practices on my Facebook page. I'll share all the links at the end. But best practices are critical to getting your content to work well for you. So when you decide where to go, make sure you are capable of producing the type of content that is needed for that platform. And then you get into the right way of adding text and copy and giving it what it needs. This is currently on Facebook the most valuable thing you can be doing to learn, and the most valuable thing you can be doing to grow your business is create a group of customers, of ideal customers, or join groups where your ideal customers hang out. Because Facebook has got so big and noisy and become such an animal with so much stuff going on, I honestly believe Facebook is placing emphasis on groups to bring it back to small rooms where small communities can communicate. So when we talk about community management, you are urged to create your own community where you can talk to them, because like live, and you know from your groups that you belong to, group posts are again pushed to the top of your news feed. They are optimized. People see your stuff when you post to them as a member of a group. So there are two ways to do it. Belong to groups, start your own group, invite your customers there to educate, engage, teach them more, and start a conversation. Think about it as your own little networking group. That's one of the best tips I can give you today. And then also about place, I talked to you about your website. Don't undermine, don't underrate the value of having your own website. Websites are no longer expensive. A single page website is enough. But Google wants you to have a website. Google optimizes websites and shows websites to people in search. So how do you now use a business card? Now you don't hand a physical business card. You might be relying on a digital business card where you forwarded a business card to people and stuff. I'd love to give you one tip that really matters. Make sure your links on your email signature are clickable. Stop using an image that people have to go and search for your Facebook page, have to go and search for your other platforms. Make the links clickable, make it easy for people to communicate with you, to follow you, to join you. That email signature is going to become one of your very, very important little business cards in communication. Magazines. So digital magazines are starting to be prolific. A lot of publications have stopped and they're going digital. You need to know what your audience is reading, where are they getting ideas, where are they getting information, because you might very well have to be there, or at least refer to those conversations that they are reading. You know, one of my tricks I give to people, so Michelle, this is for you again, when you are stuck on what content to produce, think about reading a magazine your audience reads. Grab a Getaway magazine and look at the lines on the front cover, those captions. Whoever the editor has used, the editor, the journalist, whatever, they've thought those out very carefully. Because why? They are designed to make you open the magazine. Those are tips. Those are copywriting clues. Repurpose them to write your own content. So exceptional, exciting places in the Karoo. Let me show you the exceptional, exciting places I have experienced when I traveled up to the equator in 2008. So use copy that's already out there. Repurposing is key. You do not have to be the first one with a new idea. Just don't steal ideas. Okay, next point I want to make is posting for the best time. Us who are talking to people in the Northern Hemisphere, don't just post when you're awake. You have to post when they're awake, when they're online. This might be a big aha for some people. You're going to have to learn to schedule posts. And sadly, Facebook's made that a real irritation. because you used to be able to schedule directly from your timeline. Now you've got to go to Creator Studio. But learn to schedule your posts for when your audience is online, not just for when you're online. And your content has to work with when they are able to consume your content. So if somebody is driving, one hopes they are not watching a video, but they can listen to a podcast. So drive hour, podcasts work. Late evening, videos work. Long form posts that people can read work. First thing in the morning, a beautiful image with an inspirational quote works. Can you give me a thumbs up? Can you get the message I'm saying about the type of content for the right time? It really optimizes the chances of you seeing engagement with your content. Right. And again, back to the funnel. What is their right time? How ready are people to invest? Are you still talking to them when they've only just got to know you and they don't yet like you? Or are they ready to find out more? Or are they ready to convert and they want to book now? Then get out of their way already and give them the book now button. But it depends on their buyer readiness, their intent. Are they researching? Are they comparing? Are they learning? Think about their time as much as your marketing objective. Next point, the right format. Okay, so we know that millennials watch more video than the older generations, than their parents. Generation Z is into social media and posts and TikTok. Millennials and Gen Z love, by the way, increasing audience on podcasts. God knows how we're going to engage with the coronials. They are going to be antisocial, and who's going to know what a coronial engages with? That's going to be an interesting question. But different audiences behave in different ways, consume different content. Your job is to identify what engages your audience. But across the board, live, video, animation. Do you know what animation is? That's like graphics that move about and things happening on the screen. So when I came to you, there's movement. When they're scrolling through, stuff leaps out at them. Really helps them stop. We call it thumb stopping content. Get them to stop that thumb and look. And stories. So stories has become huge. Stories is what we call ephemeral content. It disappears. So don't be nervous of sharing stories. They'll disappear on you. But all the platforms are embracing stories. It's easy to consume. It's quick to consume. It's short, 30-second stuff that engages, educates, enriches. Think about my 3 E's. Put stories out there. Again, it's broadly available. There are people, believe it or not, who sit and look at stories the whole time. And guess what? They are there waiting to discover you. Without stories, you can't be discovered. So help people find you by being in front of them. The next point is talk to them appropriately in their language. If you are not using emojis, if you are not using hashtags, if you are not using acronyms and all these things, learn them. If your audience is using them, did you notice how big the Corona emoji came, Corona Cares emoji? That gives you an indication of how people use emojis. And guess what? When people use anything other than just the like emoji, reaction on your post, it gives the algorithm a signal that your content is more valuable because they've actually thought about their reaction. They're not just clicking on the like. Now that's powerful. So if you can get people to click on a Corona Cares rather than just a like, that means you've engaged with them. They've actually gone, I care. Can you see the difference? Hashtags are, for want of a better description, a keyword to help you get discovered. They are not there to put in front of a silly word. They are there because people search by hashtag. So think of a keyword around the theme of your topic, what you would like to be found for, and use those in your post, because that's what people search for when they're searching for, when they're doing their research, when they're trying to compare your product, etc. That's what hashtags are for. Use them again to be discovered. I mentioned acronyms and abbreviations. These are well used. I've still got a friend in Zimbabwe who thinks LOL means lots of love. Use them appropriately, use them correctly, but use them. This is the new language of the Gen Zs. The Coronials will be totally into this. So learn this language, learn to be comfortable with it, learn what it means. You can ask me any of these and it'll be quite fun to see what you think it means. This one right here in the middle was one of my favorites. Can you see this one? Tell me what you reckon that means, because that's one of my favorite quotes, acronyms, this little one right here. Okay, so learn the language, and then there, Brenda, thank you, because you sound Irish, Brenda McCann. Right, guys, I hope oh, sorry, before I carry on, different devices for different people, for different times in the day. I think we are going back to a lot more time on the PC. I think people are, because they're working from home, are spending a lot more time consuming social media on their PC than their mobile device. That's an interesting thing. Remember, I said the rules are broken. We need to test this, but that to me is very interesting. But whatever, you need to design your content to be device friendly. You know that Google already downgrades sites that are not mobile friendly. That's been in operation for many years. If you still have a site that's not mobile friendly, go and fix it smartly. It's got to be easy for people to read, even your emails, your email marketing. Make sure you go and check your settings before you mail it out. Check your phone to see that it's rendered correctly, that the images are the right size, that they fit. Your social media cover photos, do they show as well on PC as they do on a mobile device? Those are little things that show attention to detail, that build your brand, that give people confidence, that build trust. Okay, so I think I've made the point very adequately that there is no one size fits all. There is no rule. You cannot rely on anybody's advice until you go and look for yourself. So you can do all the courses you want, but you are going to have to do some of your own work in the trenches to research what's going on. I would like you to go and do some research about your ideal customer. Put your feet in their shoes when you create content, when you communicate, to see what their everyday looks like, what gets their interest, what are they doing. That is going to be one of the most powerful takeouts you get from this. Go and create a buyer persona, or as it's also known, an ideal customer, and go and find out which social media they're on, which groups do they belong to, who are the influencers they follow. Because guess what? If you go and follow those influencers too, you will get to understand the stuff they are feeding their minds with. You can start getting into conversations, meeting them on common ground, on common topics that they're engaging with. And what better way to get connected with somebody than talk on common interests? Find out which brands they love. Very subtly start using brands in your images, or which animals do they love, which hotels do they prefer, which destinations do they prefer. Showing that stuff as the visual that underpins your core message is going to get their attention. I've already said to you, which magazines do they read? They're great tips there for you. And then when do you get their attention, where are they, when are they online, and how can you create an experience in this new era? You need to be already communicating an experience across this divide, across the screen, to get people to where they want to go, to build the relationship now already. Folks, more importantly than anything today, is get to know your ideal customer better than anybody. Because like your best friend, the better you know them, the better you can connect. Do me a favor. Become one that delights rather than just serves, by putting the customer at the center of everything. That is a Warren Buffett quote. So my tip number 17 is to be delightful. Tip number 18 is listen. Lean in and listen. Most people do not listen with the intent to understand. They start replying before they've actually understood. And this is going to take us on to the final topic. I hope you're still sticking with me and you're all with me and you're enjoying this. Please give me a thumbs up that this is meaningful. We're going to talk next about where listening really matters. And I have named this part, the final section of my presentation, reputation management versus enhancement. Because now more than ever, you have to enhance your reputation. Your management, it kind of implies you manage it when things go a bit wrong. I want to introduce you to the concept of building a reputation. So when the little things go wrong, you've already got such a good reputation that a little glitch, a little bump in the road is not going to derail the whole thing. So let's just go back to an earlier quote where we said businesses use social media for customer feedback, where people can give you feedback, because that's what users use social media for, to tell a company and everyone else about their experience. Your response is to respond quickly, to attend to the problems, and use it as an opportunity. This is absolutely key to regain and rebuild. Defensiveness, taking things personally, has no place, I'm afraid. You have to learn a way to put ego out of this whole social media conversation and use it, repurpose, back to our repurpose word, in a way that will build your reputation and get people respecting the way you've responded. Nothing starts the war more than defensiveness. So let's quickly, maybe this will help you handle this complaint thing. Why do people complain? It's very interesting to me that people, first of all, sharing is caring. They like to tell other people. It's a bit altruistic. This is where people do reviews because they want to be nice and help other people. One of the most popular reasons people do reviews is to say thank you. Even if there's a criticism, it's generally hidden in between, you did this well and you did this well, but this wasn't fine. Read between the lines, get the gist of what people are trying to say before you jump in there, respond. If it really is an icky one, walk away, take a deep breath, have a cup of tea, and come back and deal with it with an open mind. Everyone is on the internet. Everybody is looking. Please do not put stuff out there that's going to get people heated. Others want to be heard. Many want the company to improve. People do it for a good reason. You know, if I have a really bad experience, and I'm sure many of you are like this, you don't even give them a review because you really can't be bothered. So if people are actually bothered to give a review, that is often a very good sign because they want to give you the chance to make it better. Others just want to be heard. It's very egotistical. Others want to be part of a crowd. So in a community, in a group of people who travel to Africa, in a group of people who are safari specialists, whatever, they're talking to their community. You have to be in those communities to hear the conversation. Remember, go where they are. The others are about being seen. A lot of people are starting, if you search Google, YouTube reviews, do yourself a favor, you'll get a hell of a fright about how many people are turning to Google to do reviews. You need to be watching. This is again slightly egotistical, to be seen in the location, look where I am, but it could be a very positive quote. Your response to the different ways and thinking about the motivation behind the complaint helps you frame your response. So that's your first tip there. I just want to share some stats with you that might be a big wake-up call. 95% of customers read reviews before making a purchase. I'm sure you are one of those. 93% of customers read reviews of a local business. Now think about the power of that. If you start getting very active in your check-ins, in your recommendations of things in your destination, of the experiences you have, people start searching you, what happens? They discover your review. What's the obvious next step? Let me go and check out this person and see who they are, how real this review is, etc. It's a great way for you also to be found as an influencer, a person building their authority in this game, in this industry. 72% of customers will not make a buying choice until they've read reviews. I'm certainly one of those. And every time I make the mistake of going ahead without it, I tend to come short. So here are some more facts. 75% of businesses don't even respond to reviews. Now, what does that mean to you? It's an opportunity. So when a product has 5 reviews or more, their engagement improves. Get 5 reviews and grow from there. Chase 5 reviews if you haven't got them now. Appeal to happy customers, get them. Embrace negative reviews. They're a chance for you to very clearly, very professionally state the story. I am getting to wrap up, but to avoid social media biting you on the bottom, put a plan in place. Put a protocol in place. Empower your team who are doing your community management to look out for clues. Remember, many people are looking, only 10% are engaging. What you put out there is there for everybody to see. So make it a way of broadcasting a very positive brand building message. That's your opportunity. Make it easy for people to get a hold of you. I cannot stand websites that only has a form to fill in when people are trying to get hold of them. People might want to get on the phone. They might want to get on WhatsApp. They might want to contact you on Facebook Messenger. Give people all the options you possibly can. Get people to review you. Go and ask for recommendations, build up the reviews. You need to be trawling these sites, searching your brand, the 5 top review sites, Google My Business. I hope you're all watching your business on Google. And then, of course, for us, TripAdvisor and Facebook, guys, watch them all the time. Search your name on those sites and see what's coming up. Of course, Hello Peter is also very important for us. Important point, no response is not a response. Never just ignore even a compliment. Always the minimum response is a thumbs up or a thank you. And then timely, people expect a reply within a minimum of 24 hours. If they're really angry, the quicker you reply, the better. I will share this little tip sheet with you to put a reputation protocol in place. I'll post it on my Facebook page as a single post, so you can come and look at it again there or take a screenshot. My best practice is to say to people online, it has been escalated, it is with, and you name an impressive title, the owner, the manager, the managing director, and then say, please contact us to discuss it one-on-one. Try and take it offline. The rest of the audience will see you've attended to it, and if it is very heated, they will see you've tried to fix the opportunity. So what's next, folks? This is your action sheet for the day. Following after this, identify your USP, what makes you different. Learn to use your smartphone. Go where they are. Never stop learning. Be completely unique, authentic, and you. Participate in communities where your audience hangs out. Create and distribute quality content consistently. Test it, tweak it, make it better. Above all, be patient, because guess what? You do not know who's watching and who's reaching out and going to contact you when they are ready. And do all this, and I think you can very happily expect miracles. A final word: travel and tourism will grow, not by reverting to what was, but adjusting to a world where all activities and everything we do in the world will have changed. I hope I have helped you to embrace some of that change, and I'm very happy to go to some questions, and thank you very much for sticking with me. Thank you for staying for the chat. It has been my sincere honor, and here are my contact details. I am always open to engaging. Yesterday, I had a 2-hour chat with somebody who was very stuck on a WhatsApp call, and got the most amazing email back today that she has not just taken baby steps, but has leapt ahead. So what can I talk about? Is there time to talk about? Let me know. Charles, do you want me to do some questions?
Hi, Susie, I'm here. You
run
can
out of
definitely,
time?
you can. Our folks want to jump off, they can, but there's a Q&A at the bottom with 6 questions there.
Okay, so Glenn, I love my Glenn, and I'm very happy to see my Glenn's been so active. Glenn, LinkedIn is the powerhouse right now. And the reason why is because it is not yet as crowded as Instagram and Facebook with user content and ads. There are not nearly as many ads yet forced into people's news feeds on LinkedIn. It is a big, big, big opportunity to put content out there. Again, following the LinkedIn language, the LinkedIn format, educating, building brand, being an opinion leader, building your authority, communicating what you know, standing out. Is LinkedIn is huge for that. So I hope that was helpful. Explain stories. Desiree, no. Stories is when you post onto Instagram. So first of all, stories comes from your phone. So you have a video or an image on your phone, and you go click on the share wishbone, and you want to share it online. It gives you the option to share it to the platform or to stories. You'll get that on Facebook and Instagram. And stories are huge, and there's a fabulous little exercise. You can give me a buzz on WhatsApp, and I can show you how you then add stickers. You can do hashtags, you can add a location, you can add all sorts of interesting things to make the story meaningful. And it is live for 24 hours. People actually at the top of Instagram, you get the little circles, those are stories, and people actually sit there and click on stories and scroll through. So stories are absolutely super and very easy to do, repurposing something you've already got on your phone. Animation. So Desiree, again from you, if you are not using Canva, get onto Canva. They have brought in the most amazing animation options into Canva, and you can just create a little post and click on animate, and the whole post just animates. Okay. Podcasts, Rhonda, of course. Rona Apes. Oh, how nice to see you, Rona. Podcasts are huge, because a lot of people are listening to podcasts while they're going about their day. And now that people are spending time at home, you play a podcast in the background while you're making dinner. You play a podcast while you're driving somewhere. You play a podcast while you're sitting in the car waiting to pick the kids up from school. Podcasts are huge. And towards the end of last year, I was looking at starting podcasts, and the people who were creating podcasts in this country were totally overpriced. They shouldn't be expensive. They should be easy to do. If you've got opinion stuff to talk about, or you know people who are running podcasts, offer yourself for an interview. Everybody is looking for people to interview to get awareness of what you're talking about out there. Okay, so what else can I answer? multiple businesses and one LinkedIn profile? I would say no, because why? I told you to identify your ideal customer and focus on a niche. Focus into a niche audience. So if you have different businesses, separate them. You can have your personal profile, which talks about everything, but the actual profiles that talk into people, because otherwise you're going to lose people because you're talking about a topic that's not interesting to other people, and you're going to lose them on the platform when you are having a conversation they're not engaging with. So I am glad you've enjoyed this. Has anybody got a pressing question, or are we going to close? Chelsea, tell me.
Hi, Susie. Yeah, we can close up now. Thank you.
So, folks, I am very grateful for your attention, but hang on, because I've just remembered I had somewhere a link I wanted to share with you, and now I don't know where it is. So I wanted to give, I am going to have to, I'm going to have to find the link and share it on my page for you to get my content calendar. Sorry, I can't find it now to share, but I thank you all for joining me, and I hope this has been valuable, and I really hope we get the opportunity to do this again. Big ambitions, Africa Travel Week. Thank you for this opportunity. I hope I've inspired you to change your mindset, to think about doing your marketing differently, starting with what they need from you and how you can serve uniquely, differently by being authentic. Thanks a lot. Goodbye.